This show is brought to you by HostBaby.com, web hosting for musicians.
On episode 34 of Music Marketing Monday, we talk about showcases, those opportunities that you have to make a big impression on the important people in the room with a short set. They come in all shapes and sizes. Let's dive into it. Are you ready? All right, I knew you would be. Let's go.
Information, inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
The Music Marketing Mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. Yeah, showtime. It's time to talk about the show. Not just the show, but the showcase. That's right. You didn't know they came in a case, did you? But anyway, I'm Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind, and over here is my not feeling very well friend.
Are you ready to rumble? That's what that opening sounded like. Hi, I'm Bob Baker, Mr. Buzz Factor.
Who are you?
Yes.
I talked all over your intro. Who are you, sick buddy?
Oh, B-O-B, Bob, spell it backwards. It sounds the same. Baker, yeah. And yeah, to be honest, I'm glad that you mentioned it because I was thinking of mentioning it myself because we're pretty much open and upfront here on this show. I'm feeling a little under the weather. I might have to turn my head and cough a couple of times throughout the show. And I was actually trying to get out of this. I was actually texted Billy and I said, man, I'm not feeling so well. Maybe we could postpone this. And Billy said, oh, no, contraire.
Yeah, well, I remember when we first talked about doing this show, you were like, yeah, Billy, this might not be a bad idea. I need somebody to kind of kick me in the pants and get me to do this stuff on a regular basis. So be careful what you wish for, man.
That's right. So I went from laying down on the couch to sitting upright doing this show. And, maybe this will be my turnaround. And good health is in my future.
And this is how much we care about you. That's right, man. We didn't want you to be without your audio caffeine this week. We didn't want you to be like showing up to our Twitter chat this week without something to talk about. So we just wanted to make sure that we were there for you. So healing wishes to you there, Bob. I hope you're feeling better.
Well, thank you. But you're going to be in the driver's seat on this one. So I may just be eating a sandwich or something in the background. But
chicken soup, man. Chicken soup.
Okay, chicken soup. Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Well, anyway, we're talking about showcases and. Showcases, as you said in the beginning, come in many different shapes and sizes. And by the way, I should mention that we are still on our listener suggested topics. Can you believe it? I mean, was it the last 8 shows or something? We've just been doing nothing but show topics that were suggested by you, the listener. Isn't that crazy?
We are here to serve. And so, yeah, we want to know what you're interested in. And we're going to continue to do this, get feedback from you and hopefully get some more. I would love to do another segment of listener questions and answers where people send in specific questions and we spend a whole show just going through them and giving our best answers.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, why don't we do that next week? I mean, done. See?
There you go. Okay.
So let's, before we get into showcases, let's talk about showcasing your questions next week. So here's how we're going to do this. There's lots of different ways you can reach us. We're going to do this at the beginning so we can get right into it because we want to get all of your questions. Anything about marketing, the business of music, and anything related to, being a full or part-time musician, anything you want. So here's how you can reach us, Bob. Before you cough here. Why don't you give everybody your contact information if they want to reach you specifically?
Well, yeah, you can tweet at me at Mr. Buzz Factor. That's MR Buzz Factor. You can go to thebuzzfactor.com. There's a contact thing there. But I mean, not a lot of people have taken us up on this, but I really would love to hear your voice. I mean, sure, you could send us a text message or post it in Billy's Facebook, one of his many Facebook groups. And that's cool. But if we could actually hear your voice and incorporate it into the show, that would be ideal. And you can do that by using a real cool app called Speak Pipe, and you can go to speakpipe.com/ Mr. Buzz Factor. It's again, MR Buzz Factor. And SpeakPipe is SpeakPipe.com. SpeakPipe.com / Mr. Buzz Factor. And you can digitally send us an audio message. And we would really prefer that if at all possible.
Tell you what, man, the first person that goes to SpeakPipe and gives us a legitimate question, I will send them $1.
and I'll give you a free ebook of your choice.
No,
How about
are you
that?
serious?
I'm serious, man. We got to put some serious carrots out here to encourage people to.
Oh man. Okay. Well, wow. My dollar seems kind of minuscule compared to that
Yes.
bunch of
Yeah.
knowledge.
And you did say a legitimate question. It's like, hey, am I first? Send me the thing.
No.
Yeah, it's got to be a legitimate
question. Okay. And also, if you want to reach me directly, I'm at Music Market Mind. And of course, like Bob said, my multitude of Facebook groups and pages, probably one of the best places where a lot of our listeners, friends, and fans is Music Marketing Mind, the Facebook group. So we want to hear from all of you. Okay. So questions. We want to have, in fact, we'd love to have a two-parter. So we want to answer all those questions, okay? Because that'll give us something to actually talk about and prepare for the next show. So anyway, moving along, showcases.
Prepare? What is this? What is this concept of preparing for a show? I'm unaware of that.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. In fact, it was funny. About 15 minutes, 30 minutes before the show, Bob says, "What's our topic today?" And my reply was, "Do you remember? I have no fracking idea."
Fracking. I didn't know you were into fracking.
Anyway. So, okay.
Yes.
Showcases. Okay. People are just, hitting unsubscribe by the millions here. We got to get to the show. All right. So showcases, the best way to explain a showcase is, someone is hosting an opportunity, and there's lots of different, organizations, individuals, that do this, clubs that have showcases. But basically what it is typically someone sets up a stage or an area with usually a PA system, a set of drums, whatever, and then they invite a certain amount of artists to come and perform with a time limit of, I've seen time limits as short as 10 minutes, and usually about 15 to 30 minutes to do their best stuff for a select group of people. Now, those people could include and are not limited to librarians, teachers, business professionals, i.e., buyers of talent like booking agents or A&R people for record companies, fans in some cases, clubs, associations, and the list goes on. In fact, if you were to just Google band showcase opportunities, you'll find lots of things. Oh, and of course the college market. So the basic idea is it's an opportunity for 5 to 20 different acts to go up and give their best shot so that people can see them and potentially book them or sign them or hear their songs. If it's a song, there's also songwriter showcases. I forgot that too. So lots of different things. So I'd like to kind of dig into that a little bit. Now, are you familiar with which ones are you familiar with, Bob?
Well, yeah, that's why I was, before we hit the record button, I was just clarifying with Billy what this is. So this is everything from like a more of a public festival kind of thing, like a South by Southwest showcase, I guess.
Could be.
Where that could fall loosely into this category to, like, I've heard for many years about NACA, which I believe is the National Association of College something or other, but it's basically where you go and perform in front of all these what do you call them, talent bookers for different colleges across the country, and from one show in front of all these people you can book multiple gigs, and so yeah, but you typically in these showcase things, if I'm not mistaken, in the audience it's not a typical audience of just fans or people that are out drinking for the night. Usually there's some sort of specific type of person that is there to sort of critique. I mean, you're under a microscope in a showcase situation, right? And they're there to evaluate you and either book you or approach you to work with you or something along those lines.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, NACA is the National Association for Campus Activities.
Campus activities. That's
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, and so basically, typically, this is an opportunity for you to get in front of people that are prepared to take some kind of action. You know what I mean? Whether it's they want to hire you to play at their fair or their festival, or possibly their church or their library or their school at their club. Back in the I'm gonna date myself again. Back in the 70s and 80s. When I was still living on the East Coast. I don't know if you know that or not, but even though I live in Wisconsin now, I'm originally I was born in Philadelphia, and I always tell people I was born in Philly and raised in New Jersey because we moved to Jersey there. Pay no attention to the coughing in the back.
Yeah, I do my best to turn away from the mic.
And I'm not even going to edit that out, man, because it just adds charm and character to our lovely show. But anyway,
That's right.
what we used to have booking agents back then. I remember I was really, and I don't see this a lot anymore. I did one in Wisconsin when I moved to Wisconsin in the mid 80s, like 86, I think. But basically, booking agents would have they book a room. And what they would do is they would have 4 or 5 of their bands come into this room and play. Typically for the agent, it was a room that they wanted to book. They haven't put a band in yet. So they would take like their best band, have them set up, and I guess they would get paid something. I don't know. Or maybe they were doing it as a favor for the agent. Then the agent would bring in 5 more of his bands, and each band would do like one set. And that way the person that owned the club got a chance to see, the 5 bands that this agent represents in his own bar, which I think is brilliant. And then he would book the bands he liked, and hopefully the agent would get the account. That was my first experience of showcases, going way, way back.
Cool.
And then my second experience was in the later 80s when the urban cowboy thing was happening. New Jersey, of all places, had these things called, I got to try to remember what they were called now. They weren't called hootenannies. It was a country word like that. Gosh, I can't remember what they were called. But anyway, there was like this network of bands and bars that were just like all about country music in New Jersey, of all places. And they would have these things basically where they would, it's sort of like what an open mic is now, but bigger. And they would have like one band they would pay on a Sunday. And then what they would do is that band would invite 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other bands to play. And then once again, all the bands got to circulate and meet each other and network and be in front of the buyers and be in front of the fans. That was a great time for gaining fans and to get work with those type of situations. Nowadays, in the world of children's music, the type of showcases I'm involved with a lot are library showcases, okay? Which is basically where a library system will, again, bring a bunch of librarians from their system. So let's say this library system has 40 libraries. Then they bring in, 40 of the decision makers to spend the day. Usually they'll have a morning session, lunch, and an afternoon session. And you only usually, in these situations, you only get 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That means getting all of your equipment up on stage, performing and getting all your equipment off stage. You only get like the 15 minutes total. So traveling light. And we'll get into some best practices for showcases as well in a few minutes. But anyway, same situation. You go in, you get to perform. And if they like you, they'll book you. And those type of showcases are cool because usually in addition to your 10 or 15 minute performance, you usually get a booth or a table like out in the the lobby or the room where they have that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, in the conference room. So that's kind of cool too. There are real similar situations, I guess. Now, I've never attended a NACA, so I'm not really sure exactly what happens there, but I do know that the people that are involved in it, man, do very, very, very well, and with fairs and festivals, same situation. And a lot of these things aren't real easy to get into, like for instance, with the fair and festival associations, and there's usually one for each state. Okay. So again, you're going to do a web search for, fair and festival showcases or fair and festival conferences or, what's that other word? Not conference, when businesses get together, convention, fair and festival conventions. A lot of times you're not allowed to showcase unless you're a member, a paid member, and or a agency that's a paid member, and then you submit to see if you can get on the stage. And there are tons of these all over. I mean, besides the state fair ones, there's local. I mean, the gigging opportunities. For musicians that say there's no place to play, I sort of just kind of shake my head, because the opportunities are everywhere. And if you're prepared and you're doing your homework and you put yourself in front of the right people and you're prepared, pay no attention to that coughing in the background. We're have to get a new sponsor, man. We're gonna have to get like, NyQuil or one of those companies. Yeah.
I need one of those cough buttons that they have in radio stations.
True.
Right now.
Yeah, true for the matter. Bob's not sick at all. He's just, this is his new toy. It's his cough sampler, So
it is.
So anyway, do you understand what I'm saying there, Bob?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to think here as we're discussing this. I'm hearkening back to some memories of back in the '90s here in St. Louis, where I know there were some showcases that I didn't perform in, but I was involved in or I attended, where there were supposed to be like label. This is back when everybody was wanting to get signed. There were like a certain number of record label people were going to be in the audience checking out all of these bands, and it seems to me, and because what I'm leading up to here is I wonder. While you can go and try to tap into existing showcases, I wonder if there's opportunities to create your own. Like, for instance, if my memory serves, it seems like one of these showcases that happened in St. Louis, like somebody maybe managed a band and they wanted to get some label people to check out the band. But a lot of times a label person isn't going to fly into St. Louis or whatever city just to see one band. So they may have created this showcase as a way to, well, while you're in town, I'm going to expose you to, 7 or whatever of them, some of the best bands in the area playing original music that are really ready, and so maybe that inspired if they were able to get maybe more label people to come in for this event with multiple bands than they would have just for the single band. And so while maybe the person who organized it, their true intention was to showcase their act, they put together this event, like created a showcase of their own to then draw these people in. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. In fact, that's something I've been seriously considering doing for a long time. And, I'll just add it to my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a while ago on the Buzz Factor, you actually had a thing called How to Tap into the Lucrative College Music Market. You teamed up with, what was it? Ari.
I'm going blank here. Nisman, I think is his last name.
Yeah. That's now. Is that still available? Do you know?
I think the sales page is up, but honestly, it's been up there for a few years, so I've kind of actually taken it off my the direct link is no longer active on my resources page.
Okay.
Somebody can find it, and that's pretty good. It's a few years old, and I'm not sure how. I think most of it is still up to date. Actually, my friend John Taglieri, who's originally from New Jersey, I believe,
right,
interviewed him, and this was like an interview with an insider, and I know a lot of people benefited from that. So I'm a little on the fence about whether it's still available or not.
I just did a search for you. I think the page here is up, but I don't think the offer is available. But I got to tell you, some of these things that he talks about, like the NACA or the APCA, what the difference are. And it's incredible here, just a few years ago, what it says about the kind of money that you can make doing these college gigs. Looks very lucrative.
Yeah. If you're really good and you put on a stellar show, I mean, you can book a lot. It's just like, unfortunately, it's not a level playing field. Not everyone who attends or performs at a showcase is going to get the same results. But the acts that stand out, that are really tailor made for that, whatever that audience is, they're going to get the results. And I think you had alluded earlier that you wanted to talk about like best practices. I don't know if you want to veer into that now, but yeah, having your performance act together is crucial when you have these showcase opportunities.
Hold on a second here. I pressed the button. You couldn't hear that, could you?
I didn't. You would just hear what?
Exactly. Cool. All right. So anyway, yeah, I found an interesting YouTube link, and as we're speaking here, and I'll try to give you the link to it, but it's the showcase submission explained. So we'll put that in the show notes. It's called Understanding Showcase Submissions. So, if you're interested in this NACA thing, we'll send you over to a video that explains how to actually submit and go through the process, which is kind of cool. So anyway, moving on, best practices. So here's the thing. First of all, you got to remember that a showcase is not a gig. In fact, one of the best people that can explain this is a fellow named Tom Jackson.
Exactly what I was thinking myself.
Yeah, Tom from Onstage Success. I mean, this is really what he does best, is helps artists to understand the situation that you're booking. So, things that you do on stage, you got to remember when you're doing an hour and a half show or a 4-hour gig, you have a long time to set the moments and to build up to being, all fired up and kicking butt. Whereas, you're standing on the side of the stage with your gear and other bands on stage. They're getting off the stage while you're running up on the stage, and bam, you have to play. There's no time for, so like tuning your guitars or, sound checks and all that stuff. So some of the best practices, some of the best ideas that I would like to share with you, whatever kind of showcase you're doing, are as follows. Number one, make sure that you have your show planned. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like to plan your sets, which is me, I really fly by the seat of my pants. It's a good idea before you hit the stage to have a good idea what you're doing. It's like sometimes some people will work up, their 10 or 15, 30-minute show way in advance and present it, and that's probably the best thing. What I like to do is I like to get there, not be first. But that's a best practice. If you can, try not to be first and never be last. Always try to be somewhere in the middle because you have the best opportunity for the most people to see you. A lot of times the acts in the beginning, maybe not everyone's not there, or by the time they get to the last act, they've forgotten who the first act is. So you want to be in the middle somewhere. And one of the reasons I like to do that also is I like to be able to scope the room and check out the other acts and see what's going on. And in the event that some of the people are doing the same songs I'm doing, it gives me an opportunity to change some things. Unless, of course, it's a song that really goes over well, and you're presenting it in a unique way. All right. Next thing that I would say is really important is be prepared. Obviously, that's number one. Make sure you have reliable equipment that works, that you have your chords work, and your guitars are tuned prior to going up on the stage. This is probably the thing I've seen. I've seen people blow their entire set, literally going up on stage and setting up their gear, and these showcases are not forgiving. If they give you 15 minutes, they give you 30 minutes, and let's say it's a 15-minute thing and it took you 12 minutes to get your gear set up, well, you've got 2 minutes. That's all you have. You know what I mean?
And make sure that if you brought all the gear that you need, even simple stuff like, for me, the most helpful thing is to have a checklist that you go over, even though it might seem obvious to you. I don't know how many times I've left and ended up at a show and, I forgot my guitar stand. One time I actually forgot my guitar.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily it was in town, so I could run back and get it in time. But that's that silly stuff. I forgot the little attachment cord or whatever, the adapter that I needed for such and such, and so go have a checklist and go through, make sure everything is there as you're loading it up.
Right, absolutely. And by the same token, and this is really important, don't bring anything you don't need. Because everything you bring is going to add setup time. Like if you're a guitar player, you like to use, 18 pedals and 5 amps. Well, for the 15, 30 minutes, 60 minutes you got, what are you actually going to need? And this goes heavy for drummers. If there is not a house drum set, for instance, do you need your double bass drum 35-piece kit with your cymbals hanging off the cliff and all that stuff? Or do you just need a kick and a hi-hat and a snare for the songs you're going to do? Streamline everything, make it as quick as possible. Now, people form opinions about you before you even hit a note. It's important for you to look really organized when you go up on stage to set up your equipment. You can't be running around fighting with each other, having scowling faces and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So your performance actually begins, your performance begins the minute you walk in the building, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But your performance actually begins when you walk up on that stage. How you present yourself while you're setting up is important. It's just as important as how you're going to sound. Now, as far as your sound goes, a couple of things. Keep your stage volume low, no matter what you're doing, as low as possible, because in certain situations it just can't be loud because there's only 40 people out there and they're all the decision makers. Or if it's a big stage like South by Southwest, whatever, you want the PA system and the mix to be good out front. And if your stage volume's too loud, well, guess what? You're not getting a good mix and your vocals are going to be buried. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. And then one of the biggest of them all is be prepared, no matter what, to not hear yourself. Okay? This is huge. No monitors. I mean, there'll be monitors set up, maybe there won't. and there might not be enough microphones. You need to ask these questions in advance before you go. Be prepared. How many microphones will be out front? Is there a boom stand for the drummer to sing? Do we have monitors? Are there amplifiers? Are there drums? Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid, because, you need to bring what you need to bring. I would suggest that if you need more microphones than what they're providing, that you don't bring extra microphones and ask them to plug them in, because that's going to eat up your time. See if you can figure out a way to do like what the Beatles did. Maybe have a couple of singers share one microphone, things like that. You know what I mean? And or just pick the songs where you only need two singers. You have to work with what's best for the showcase to make yourself look good, because once you get the gig, you'll be able to bring whatever you want to bring and really show them, be even better than you were at the showcase.
Cool. And I know if you're okay with talking about the actual performance itself.
Yeah.
No? Okay. So I know we're both fans of Tom Jackson, and I've known Tom for years and seen him work his magic and do makeovers with a band's live show. And I know one of the things he always says early on in his workshops and so on is that musicians will go into the studio and they'll nitpick at every detail, and they'll work on all the nuances and all the they get everything perfect. And then when they go on tour, or when they go to perform, which is basically your public way of marketing the album and who you are as a musician, you just get up there and wing it. So in one area of your career, you're meticulous about every note and every, and then but on stage, you just kind of, let's just go up there and just play the songs, without any forethought to how it's being perceived by the, and so, Tom is a genius at taking a band's, live performance, and he'll break a song down and, actually rearrange songs for a live performance. So, because a lot of artists will go up there and just be cover versions of their own songs. They'll just play them just like the record, but quite often in a live setting, doing something different with it, or extending parts, or is a better way to go. And then also the positioning of where the players are, like the lead guitarist. If during a solo, he shouldn't be standing behind his mic stand. He should come out and be front and center. And the focus should be on him. And then when the solo ends, you kind of turn and look toward the singer or whatever. And I don't know. There's just a lot of little nuances that Tom does to just bring a song to life in a live setting. And so in these showcases, considering that most of them you have a limited time, it really would behoove you to hone your craft and work on the show and how you're not only how you're playing it, just playing all the right notes, but where's the lead singer going to be standing at different parts? Are you going to add an audience participation segment in a certain spot, and really work those things out to where you're just as meticulous as you are when you're in the studio recording them. Thoughts, Mr. Greiser?
Absolutely. I totally agree. And one of the things that's really important, never, ever, 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 ever run overtime. Never. Okay? In fact, it's a really good idea to play less than more. So in other words, if you have time for, let's say, 3 songs, I highly recommend you do 2. And you leave them with that, that old saying, leave them wanting more. And if it's much better to kill on 2 songs than to run overtime or seem rushed trying to do 3 songs.
Right.
Even one. I mean, I've gone to, let me tell you something. The best showcase I've ever done, I booked like 40 gigs from this one showcase, was I went and I did 1 song. 1. And what I did for this particular one, I knew what the audience was. I knew what they wanted. I went up, but before I did a song, I knew they would be interested in how I would conduct myself at their venue. So I actually did a little talking first. I said, well, this is me, and this is what I do, and this is why it's so cool, and you can expect this, you can expect that, and now I'm going to play this song that is going to just kill at your place, and imagine what it's going to sound like at your venue. And I did my song. Then afterwards, I had a few more minutes and I actually had these coupon things. And during my time, I was allowed to be up on stage. I ran around the room that says, book me today and save $100. And so it was all part of my time. I could do whatever I wanted. Whereas everybody else was trying to cram in, 3, 4, 5 songs. They didn't talk. They didn't mention, how they were of value to the buyers, So again, thinking outside the box, doing things a little bit different. It's not a gig.
Right. You're showcasing your talents for people that could hire you or work with you in some way, right?
Absolutely. Now let's see. Is there anything else that we forgot? Oh, be really nice to the other performers that are there. Also, be ready to offer them help getting up and down off the stage. That goes a long way. Be ready to offer them a guitar cord or a microphone or something if they forgot it. That's going to go a long way to making goodwill and networking with other bands that might want to work with you in the future or just say nice things about you, recommend you. Again, now here's something really important that a lot of people don't think of. A lot of bands, for some reason, want to get in, do their thing, and get out. And if that's your mindset for these kind of things, don't even bother going. Okay, just don't even go. Because to be honest with you, 80% of the value of the showcase happens before and after the showcase. Not for that short period of time that you're up there performing. A lot of it has to do with when you first get there, meeting people, shaking hands, handing out business cards, promo packets, CDs, whatever you want. Then afterwards, being available for questions and to actually take orders and book shows. You know what I mean? And this goes, if you're a solo act, you probably know this, okay? But when you've got, 5 guys in the band and you brought your road crew, every person that is there is representing the band. Every person there is selling the band. Everyone should know what their role is, and nobody should act like an ass, and everybody should be there for business.
Hear, hear. Words of wisdom.
I mean, it sounds like, pay no attention to those coughing in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, the thing is, it's like, it's common sense, but I see people failing miserably on these really important aspects all the time. And I hope that's not you. In fact, I know it's not you because you listen to this show and you know better.
Right, and it's, you're not walking around like forcing yourself on the people that could potentially hire you, but you're just available. And if you have a conversation with some of them, and they think you're a warm and friendly person that they'd like to work with, you probably increase your odds that they would hire you.
Well, right, you don't want to go up and say, "Hey, Billy Grind's like, damn glad to meet you." You know what I mean? But you want to be available and look like you want to talk to people. Like, for instance, if you're there, if you're 4 band members and you're in a little circle laughing and giggling and or whatever and not looking very friendly, nobody wants to interrupt. But if you're there looking out into the crowd, waving, saying hi, asking people if they enjoyed the showcase, whatever, the opportunity of making good connections are so much better. You know what I mean? And also, if they're interested and if they're talking to you, make sure you have your booking materials available, whether you do it with a day planner or your iPad or whatever, because, a lot of these showcases, they'll book you right on the spot if you're prepared. Don't blow an opportunity.
Very cool. Good episode we slapped together here, huh?
I'm telling you, man, it's just so great. And if you don't, one of the things I love about podcasting and what we do is, I'm hoping that people are listening to this while they're driving to their gigs, while they're going for a walk or exercising or whatever. I don't know if this is suitable for bedtime or not. I mean, maybe I like to listen to this kind of stuff before I go to bed. But if you're not available to look at the show notes right now, just do a search for Understanding Showcase Submissions with NACA on YouTube, and also goof around with that Google thing. It's a pretty cool device they came up with, that search engine thing, and just put showcases. Type in band showcase, music showcase, college showcase, fair and festival showcase, conventions, and then type in your state or the states that you want to travel to. Just be forewarned, though, these things book way in advance, so it's not like if there's one for November, it's probably been booked for months. So you probably want to try to 12 months. 6 months out is when you're looking at booking these things. So there you go. Those are my gems, man.
They are. That's gold, man. It's gold.
Gold. So now, what are we going to do now? Well, you know what we're going to do. We're going to head over to Twitter at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time today on Monday, if you're listening to the show on Monday. And on Twitter, we're going to be using the hashtag MMMChat to have a real-time live conversation about what we talked about today. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from people that are involved with showcases and maybe even some folks from NACA or whatever. I'm going to try to see if I can entice them out by mentioning them with the @ sign during our conversation today. That'd be cool. And if you missed the show, I mean, if you missed the Twitter chat today, at MMM Chat on Facebook, we have a group. It's free. We continue the conversation all week long until we get to the next topic. Now, and what's next week's topic, Bob? Let's see if you remember.
It's going to be listener Q&A. You send us your Qs, we'll give you our A's.
There you go, man. So everybody send we got to get that sponsor. Everybody, please send us stuff. And if you want, send us some donations so we can get Bob some cough medicine.
Some Mucinex or something.
That's
our new sponsor.
Maybe we should do like a Kickstarter. Bob needs, I was going to say Bob needs drugs, but that probably isn't good.
No.
Bob needs cough medicine. What do you think? Is that like the potato salad thing?
I think it has the potential to go viral big time. So let's do it.
I don't know, man. It sounds like you already got a virus. I don't know. Okay, cool, man. All right. Well, I'm Billy Grazek, the Music Marketing Mind, and this is
Bob Baker. You're getting back to health, Mr. Buzz Factor.
All right, man. And we'll see you today at 3 on Twitter, and we'll definitely see you back here next Monday.
Happy Monday. Have a great week. So long for now. Bye.
Bye.
Are you still there? Excellent! Now would be a good time to visit hostbaby.com for your free 30-day trial. Of course.